Please go ahead, ma'am. We are live now.
Good morning, everyone. So I welcome you all to this Augustus gathering that we have organized today. And ASSOCHAM has, taken this big initiative to organize an event related to nutraceuticals, the frontline for the consumer health that will focus on nutraceuticals, dietary supplements, OTC, and various other topical subjects. So, what we are talking about today is a very crucial thing in the current times. We all understand that because of pandemic, we all have been struggling with a lot of health issues and things which really bother us mentally and physically. So, it's very pertinent and imminent that we speak about the importance of nutraceuticals. When this term comes to mind or when it comes forward, people usually think that one can self-medicate with them, but this is not very true. So it's very important that we understand that that pandemic has definitely made us understand that how health is important, or how it is important to maintain our inner health in order to prevent the occurrence of diseases, and also because our body will have that fighting power to resist the diseases or let it get worsened. But at the same time, it's important that we understand the quality standards associated with them, the parameters that need to be checked. So with all of that in mind, we have now, tried to bring forward all these stalwarts from the industry who will speak to us today related to all these current issues, and will highlight all these points here. So with that saying, I would like to say that I would like to just introduce myself. I am Dr. Kriti Soni. I'm heading Formulation Development in Dabur Research Foundation. From last several years, I have been dedicated towards development of nutraceuticals, taking care of all the regulatory standards and essential requirements that need to be there in order to give a fruitful or an efficacious product to the consumer. And with that, I would like to just highlight that the growth of nutraceutical market in India can largely be attributed to increased affluence, lifestyle diseases, and a change in the consumer perception and mindset. The increase in awareness about extra supplements among consumers, increasing health consciousness, and rising healthcare costs has also aided in the growth of this industry. More than 80% of the physicians today agree that responsible use of nutraceuticals and OTC supplements can reduce the occurrence or the burden on the healthcare system. So occurrence of diseases can be reduced and the burden on healthcare system can definitely get reduced if the healthcare standards of people is better. So with that, today we have stakeholders from state, central governments, National Institute of Nutrition, NABH, wellness and pharmaceutical companies, and many health and nutritional experts that are a part of this virtual summit. And they will be taking us through the entire concept of nutraceuticals. We are very glad to have you all. And with that, I would like to hand over to Srimati Upasana Arora, who is the co-chair of ASSOCHAM National Empowerment Council and chairperson of Yashoda Super Speciality Hospital. She is the first Indian to be awarded the prestigious fellowship of International Society of Quality and Accreditation, mission member for CII, Healthcare Mission, on Lean and Six Sigma, the NHS United Kingdom. She also holds international fellowship on health technology assessment. She has been awarded at multiple forums for her contribution to the field of ethical healthcare practices, affordability, community environment, and women leadership. So we welcome you, ma'am. Please enlighten us with your remarks.
Thank you so much, Kriti, and thank you so much, ASSOCHAM, because today you have brought up topic which is really required right now. And nutraceuticals means pharmaceutical and nutrition together. So today we have a very good panel. All the best brain of India are sitting here. So everybody who has joined as an attendee, they are going to get benefit from this, because through this nutraceutical topic, we are going to know which food is actually giving us, benefit, health benefit, as much as antioxidants. So it is, stop our aging and lots of other things. So without delaying, and I will not take much time because I am not expert on this. Today we have all expert panel with us. So I am handing over to you, Kriti. Please give them this opportunity that everybody has to get this benefit of today's webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your opening remarks. And you very correctly said that we have the best brains today with us. And just to highlight that under panel discussion today, we have Dr. Blossom Kochhar, Dr. Atul Kochhar, Dr. Shikha Sharma, Dr. Narendra Tripathi, and Ms. Manjari Chandra. I'll be glad to introduce all of them as they speak. But first, we would like to start with Dr. Blossom. So she's the co-chair for ASSOCHAM Women Empowerment Council and chairperson Aroma Magic. With over 35 years of experience, Dr. Blossom Kochhar is a pioneer of aromatherapy and the chairperson of Blossom Kochhar Group of Companies. She is the co-chairperson for the Beauty and Wellness Sector Skill Council and Indian president of Organisation Mondiale Coiffure and Intercoiffure Mondiale India. Bestowed with many awards, Dr. Kochhar is currently working with Delhi government for their empowerment and entrepreneurship program. We welcome you, ma'am. So glad to have you today morning. Please go ahead.
Okay, so good. Thank you, Kriti. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am really delighted to be a part of this great initiative of ASSOCHAM. Today, we are talking about nutraceuticals, and today's theme clearly states that nutrition products can be an inexpensive and safe solution to tackle important unmet health needs. The more people around the world are dying from obesity than from starvation. Poor nutrition is now recognized as a major risk factor for chronic diseases. And the front lines of this battle are nutritional products that have been proven to help prevent or cure diseases. These nutraceuticals present a tantalizing opportunity for breakthroughs to prevent and manage common health problems, offering consumer-focused solutions to issues that are currently addressed only by pharmaceutical interventions or not at all. Transformation in food habits, less physical work, more desk jobs have made people more vulnerable to lifestyle ailments. The average urban and semi-urban Indian is becoming more conscious about health and fitness, which is really very nice. This is providing a massive growth opportunity for the nutraceuticals industry in India. Lack of timely and nutritious food has led to increased rate of malnutrition, even among the urban and affluent section of society, leading to a deficiency of micronutrients. These deficiencies have led to the rise in nutritional supplements. The growing middle class and an increased awareness of health issues have resulted in a trend where people are looking to nutraceuticals, dietary supplements, functional foods, traditional medicines, etc. for disease prevention, wellness, and performance enhancement. And it has added to the awareness and easily availability of lifestyle over-the-counter products. And also, dietary supplements and functional beverages have also started to pick up the pace. Today, at this forum, we have eminent panel of members with us who will give us more deep knowledge on this important subject. And we are really looking forward to hear you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your remarks. Now we move on to Dr. Atul Kochhar, who is the CEO of National Accreditation of Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers. Dr. Kocher was awarded the University Gold Medal for excellence in the field of dermatology, venerology, and leprology. He worked since 2003 as a professor and consultant in the Department of Dermatology and STD, Lok Nayak Hospital and Maulana Azad Medical College. Over years, he has held various organization positions like president, secretary, vice president, and executive member of IADVL, which is the Delhi State Branch, and has successfully organized various conferences. Dr. Kocher is an active practicing clinician with a passion for quality in healthcare, and since December 2019, he has taken over as Chief Executive Officer of National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers of India. We welcome you, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Kriti. Thank you, ASSOCHAM. Thank you, Upasana Madam, and thank you all the panelists for this wonderful opportunity. It's indeed a pleasure to be a part of any initiative which addresses the core health of people. And I truly believe that nutraceuticals today are an important integral part and should be an important integral part of every person's regular intake. Please allow me to sum it and allow me to wear two very small hats today. One for quality and accreditation as part of the NABH, and other as a clinician, as a dermatologist, where we see acute deficiencies manifesting in so many myriad ways. I mean, acute healthcare crises which are happening, as Dr. Blossom very rightly pointed out. These micronutrients in very minute requirement, they process and run millions of processes which are going on in our body. These are the catalysts. Actually, when we talk about zinc, manganese, copper, or whatever, I mean, there are hundreds of such small requirements of the body which are the go-between, which help smoothly run the multiple processes which in case of deficiency lead to not only very overt symptoms, but also very vague symptomatology, like chronic fatigue syndrome, not giving your optimization. So it's very much required that you have these nutraceuticals in your daily regimen, daily diet, as a daily requirement. The important thing, what matters, is that there has to be a total rationalization to the entire concept. And the market, I mean, it's $1 billion market out there, and people are self-medicating, I mean, self-taking. These are not truly medications, but they are important food groups which are there for everybody to see. They are prescribed in tons by the doctors. So there has to be absolute rationality. And that is what NABH advocates. And every clinician should practice. That we should be encouraging prescription audits, whereby there is no duplication of these multiple, for example, same antioxidants being given in 3 different forms to the same patient. So that and excess, we know, is not good. And that is one pandemic lesson which has been given to us, one opportunity which has been given to us, shown to us, that preventive wellness is the key to preventing more such pandemics. So we need a rationalization to the entire concept of nutraceuticals. And the only way we can develop that rationalization is by education. And I truly believe that these sessions, which reach out to millions of stakeholders, are an important concept. Very low cost. You bring in all the celebrated people. Dr. Shikha is here, Dr. Blossom is there. There are a whole lot of people who are going to spread the message that people should be cautious. They should not be scared about nutraceutical this thing, but they should self-study, evaluate, and know for themselves. And every industry should help inculcate a good behavior and ensure that only the best of ingredients. We have a large pool of traditional wisdom with us, which utilizes nature. What the West is discovering now, or maybe in the past, has discovered in the past decade, India has known for the past 4,000 years. So all that wisdom of Chavanprash, of Bhasmata, etc., etc. I mean, it's a huge spectrum, from scientific wisdom to traditional wisdom, and India has it all. So we must inculcate good behavior, best manufacturing practices, best practices related to prescription. We must encourage scientific thought on these practices. We must encourage good study designs, which churn out scientifically validated, peer-reviewed, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials for these. And only way we can develop it is by having large cohorts. So I think the time is just right. The pandemic has pushed what was in the wings. We know and realize the importance of preventive wellness. We know and realize the importance of nutraceuticals. Now, the industry, the policymakers, and all of us must come together to build an ecosystem where we tie these loose ends and take this wonderful wisdom to the people and start with our own and help them realize the value of taking a small tablet of iron, for example. I mean, government policy is already there. And not only iron, but the hidden micronutrients, vitamin D, I mean, manganese, copper, magnesium. So all these things are there. So rationality of thought, rationality and validation of all our traditional wisdom is the need of the hour. And by that only we can spread this message of scientific rational health. So I'll take a stop here, Dr. Kriti, and maybe we'll continue this dialogue. Thank you so much for this opportunity once again, ASSOCHAM and Upasana Madam, Dr. Blossom. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your address. And I would say that indeed, this is really very important. The points that you have highlighted, that Dr. Upasana, that Upasana ma'am said, that Dr. Blossom said. So in order to just, just tie that thread together, I would like to ask few questions to all three of you. So to start with, sir, like you mentioned that the multivitamins, the micronutrients, these are very important. The dosages are very important. So we completely understand that a lot of implementation has happened. Since FSSAI is a regulatory body for the nutraceuticals currently in market in India, so we have all seen that how fast these guidelines are evolving and how there is a list, or say the entire list of the approved ingredients in the FSSAI appendix, where it says what kind of dosages are recommended. We have seen in the past that people have gone ahead of these guidelines of the RDAs and taken multivitamins and all this in excess. So we do understand that this is a detrimental thing and it does pose a lot of problems. So like we say that excess of everything is bad, we have to always understand that there are safe limits to these doses. So what is your thought on that, about self-medication, how people have been doing it? Because these guidelines, these safety studies, the efficacy testing, clinical trials are all done by companies who are, ethically doing it. There are good manufacturing practices related to it, but still we see that, there are certain kinds of misinformation which lead to people taking some wrong paths. So what is your suggestion regarding that?
So Dr. Kriti, that's a very pertinent question actually. So 2 points which you've raised. One is the issue of whether we should advertise these to the people, whether people should take, well, that's the essential purpose actually. So these are consumer-based products also. So education has to be there. So, and for every one industry which is doing ethical practices, we also realize there are also 10 maybe fly-by-night operators which quickly, pitch in. And we all realize that there's a huge difference in the APIs. I mean, and the price of APIs. If you take up a quality, I mean, let's say we take 2 capsules of vitamin B complex at the simplest level. At one end, you may have one which is premium prestige product, which is wonderfully placed and containing the best ingredients in the form of API, the best imports or indigenously manufactured. At the other end, you may get the same composition for a fraction of a price, but which totally lacks quality, which will not do any purpose, and on the contrary, it will help harm the people. So there we have to have some legal teeth maybe, and largely regulate more this largely unregulated industry to control and curb these fly-by-night operators. Encourage only the tested and tried products, and maybe draw lines where there are prescription controls also to a certain extent. So while I totally agree with you that people need to be, the consumers should be empowered to choose for themselves, but not only go by advertisement, and government should back that standards. Like, for example, Quality Council of India has a Ayush mark for every standard manufactured medication, there's a Ayush mark, which is equivalent of a ISI mark or a FPO or a FSA. It goes one step further to this thing, but these things are still voluntary. Unlike many other countries which are more advanced and place much more things on a higher pedestal. So like US FDA also is less stringent as compared to medication, but it is still, their food products are also much more stringent to get a license across. So while without inhibiting the industry, uh, you have to think of ways, means, and via medias where you inculcate a culture of quality in everything. And that can only come when we sit together and brainstorm. So fortunately, the environment is right, things are happening, and it's a very optimistic scenario currently. As Dr. Blossom said, I mean, it's a huge opportunity for all of us to develop this area, this niche area, and educate people, take quality to the people, and improve their health in general. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much, sir. So very correctly, you have highlighted that how pricing varies as because of the ingredient qualities. So that is so true. Even the percentages of purity of the ingredients becomes very important. So all these are the things that really hold importance. So thank you so much for that thing. And Dr. Blossom, next I would like to ask you that we all have seen that, as you were reiterating, that how vitamins, minerals, and all these RDAs and all these things are very important. But we have seldom seen that there is a trend ingredient suddenly in the market. That happens because the thing is that people start reading more about it, or there is a lot of advertisement about that ingredient. So, for example, if I speak about sea buckthorn oil, so it suddenly caught traction because of advertisement, or say because of the government's importance. So what are your views about this? That we completely understand that scientifically a lot of studies are done on those ingredients which prove that they are efficacious. But we all know that at a single point of time, because of self-medication, or because of educating ourselves through Mr. Google, we have been taking a lot of antioxidants together.
Yeah.
What
So
is your
that-
view on that?
My take is I totally agree with Dr. Atul, of course, Kochhar, because really, they could advertise, they could do things, but each person is different. Each person is, they are different, they are individual, they have their own problems. So we can't just pick things off the shelf and take it. That is very dangerous. Just saying, oh, this is good, or we see an ad, it won't go with everyone. So I really believe we should take expert advice, find out what is good, what is the quality and everything. And like Dr. Kochhar was saying, we have to see that, that things are, the government has to put a stamp on it. It is not just fly by night. Today they'll say this is good, and then problems will happen and they are out there from the market. So they have to regularize it. And of course, we can't just go by advertising. We have to take care and take a hold of our lives. I'm speaking like a lay person, actually, that they have to, I really say, they have to take a hold of their lives. They have to see what is good. They have to get proper advice and then go in. We have a lot of wonderful doctors who could advise. So I really feel that is the thing, because you could take an excess of your antioxidants, you could take an excess of your vitamins, and then you will have a big problem, So this is something I feel that we have to look into it. And I think education is the key for this, and more of these kind of forums, so that it could reach people and we really be able to know how the things go by. Because this is a industry which is going to boom. It is going to boom, really. It started and it's going to, but we have to really regularize it, educate, and then we can go. And even the ads that come out, I have a feeling we have to see when it comes out to medical ads, they have to be very careful. When it comes out to different ads, it's okay. It's not going to affect the person. But medical ads, I think they have to take notice of that.
So true, ma'am. And with your point that, we totally understand that the quality standards have risen and there is a unification of the pharma space and the Nutra space today. But of course, that is very important that we take expert advices and then select the product carefully. So true. And now I would like to ask Upasana ji that since you are dealing a lot with the hospital chains and you totally see the trend, so what do you see that what people are doing these days? Like we totally understand that the forum like this has enabled us to speak to the audiences and tell them that it is important not to self-medicate, choose the products wisely, go for quality. So all these things are important and the onus is on us, the developers, the industry, to maintain those quality standards and educate people. But what trends do you see in the medical space right now? That how people are doing this, and what is still lacking? What is the gap for them?
Actually, because these days lots of medicines are advertising themselves that if you will take this medicine, then you will be very active whole day and this and that. So what is happening? Everybody is, if they are coming to hospital and doctor has already prescribed that medicine, because composition is same but name is different, and people are not aware that the name is different, so thing will be same. So actually, as Dr. Atul said, that it's excess of everything. They are already taking multivitamin through their doctor, and then they listen somewhere that curcumin is very good for me, so they will take few capsule of curcumin, then few thing others thing. So it is not good, and we need to make this campaign through. I think SOCHM is a good platform. We need to tell others that either go by your doctor, your dietitian, and do not put all the time your head for this, that I will take this and I will get benefit from this, because instead of benefit you can harm yourself. And as we are an NABH accredited hospital, so we are doing this prescription audit, because one patient is going to so many doctors. So other one doctor is not talking to other person, other doctor is not talking, because it's a chain. So if he is having 4 prescriptions from 4 doctors, and sometimes it's a repeated thing for a patient, so same patient is taking so many same things. So there is a prescription audit, because of NABH has made it mandatory for us, so we can check and we need to check it. So awareness is right now most important thing, and we need to tell everyone that kindly you need to follow your doctor advice or your dietitian advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So I see that, all three of you have highlighted this very pertinently, that it's important that you seek expert advice, do not involve in self-medicating, and always educate yourself. So education is the imperative thing. So thank you so much. With this, we now move to Dr. Shikha Sharma, who's our next speaker. She is a co-chair SOCHM Wellness Council and managing director of NutriWell Health India. Dr. Shikha Sharma is a well-known name in preventive healthcare sector. She's a medical doctor by training from Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi. The organization that she has set up works in the area of disease prevention and wellness. It serves clients across the globe. It is a telenutrition centralized model with over 140 full-time employees. She has also launched Vedic Diet app, which got over 1 lakh downloads in less than 4 months of the launch. The app offers free diet plans for PCOS, weight gain, diabetes management, etc. We welcome you, ma'am. Please share your thoughts.
Thank you. In fact, it is amazing because all panelists have been mentioning all the practical issues in the industry. And to give a little background, the reason I started looking at nutrition at a very early stage was because when I was working in the ICU in GB Pant Hospital, I realized the patients had absolutely no idea that their heart attack was also contribution from their diet and their lifestyle. And like medical industries structured, and there are proper certifications and trainings, when I came to the nutrition industry, I realized it had a lot of scope for improvement. And that's how the whole organization started. In fact, during the COVID times, and what you're saying is so true, and I was just thinking that these are the real problems which were happening, that people were over-medicating, or people were not understanding why they are taking a particular nutraceutical product or why they have to take these things. So seeing this whole confusion, and especially amongst people who really wanted to be healthy through natural methods but did not have enough information, we launched a training academy which is completely online. Now, if we look at nutrition today, nutrition, the modern nutrition only talks about calories. And the calorie concept obviously does not work because in that concept, the calculation, there are many calculation errors in terms of like 1 teaspoon of sugar is called 16 calorie, which means if you're taking 10 teaspoons of sugar, you only consume 160 calorie. And whereas as doctors, we clearly know that 10 teaspoons of sugar can cause so much damage in the body, because not only it creates a chronic inflammation, but it also predisposes to other disease conditions. So what I realized is that there was fundamentally big flaws in the whole calorie concept. And therefore, we had to look at functional medicine, or we had to look at functional nutrition. And Ayurveda had a lot of aspects of functional nutrition and functional medicine. However, the problem is that everybody is consuming in an erroneous way, without proper understanding, without proper education. So what I realized is that the best way to educate people is to have courses which they can do online. And the Unitus Academy is what I launched. Now, what I was trying to do, or what is the whole purpose of education? We all know that unless people get educated and in a fashion where they not only understand the basic physiology of the body. So, for example, when we used to ask that, okay, we are talking about antioxidant. What is an antioxidant? 9 out of 10 people in nutrition could not answer what is an antioxidant. How does it work? And therefore, they were going by advertisements. So naturally, the advertisements can easily fool when you don't understand the science behind the product. And the advertisement can say anything. So I realized that it's very important to create large number of professionals, nutritionists, homeopath doctors, other professionals, maybe the allopathic doctors also, and have them learn through short courses where you actually, the science and the publications, the papers teach that this is the correct process pathway. This is how the pathway works. And so that they are not enamored by the advertisements. It's very easy to put an advertisement, and then people, because they do not have a scientific information, or they do not have the education, they have to believe, because there is nothing else. They're desperate to believe. So I feel personally that it's very important to create lakhs and lakhs of professionals today who are properly educated through these training programs, through these upskilling programs, so that they understand the physiology, the biochemistry, and through a proper, they understand the research, and through that they are able to prescribe in proper combinations. I'll give you a small example. Like most people would say, take, let's say, haldi. So I was talking to one of the professionals, the scientist, and he said people don't even know how to take haldi at home, how much haldi they have to take, which with haldi has to be taken, should it be boiled, should it be put in warm water, how many times a day, what kind of haldi, what are the different levels of curcumin in different haldis. So because people don't know, they think more is better. See, we have an attitude of more is better. So there are two thought processes. One is attitude of less but high quality, and the other is attitude of volume. They just take huge volume and it'll be fine. And that is why what Dr. Atul said is so important, that in healthcare, volumes don't work. It has to be quality. Because in healthcare, if you go, like, for example, many times in televisions, people have invited me to speak on this poisonous Loki. Now, most people would wonder, why would a Loki become poisonous? Because the way it is grown, the land where it's grown, and the kind of chemicals it has absorbed from the water where it's grown. So I'll give you another example. Many years back, one of the beverage companies came into trouble because some pesticides in the beverage. And when I was called on the panel for television, I knew that it could not be the company putting pesticides. And finally, the same thing came out, that the pesticides were coming from the groundwater where the company was drawing water. And because maybe at that point they did not realize that the filtration should have been done, they were taken to task by the regulatory body for pesticides in their beverages. So what I'm trying to say is that even at the ingredient level, such sensitizations are very important. And water is something we take for granted. We just take, oh, it's natural water, so it's fine. But no, water is carrying the maximum chemicals today. So audit of the water or safety audit of the water which is used in industries is very important. these are some small points. What I'm trying to say is, as the industry is growing, and I feel that this is a great time for the traditional herbs, nutraceuticals, all of them to come in a collaborative way to help people who want to really take these kind of products or these kind of education. And that is why creating lakhs of professionals is uh, is the need of the day. It also provides a lot of jobs, and that is why in realizing this, I thought that it is a very good time to start training courses which are being conducted and which can upskill professionals. See, today we all know healthcare keeps changing every 3 or 4 years because new researches keep coming. But for a busy professional, sometimes it's very hard to go to a university or a college physically and take a course. And that is why it's very important that they should be doing online courses where in whatever time, maybe they are traveling in the metro, maybe on a weekend they have some hours off, they can do those courses and upskill themselves. So I think, like every panelist has mentioned, that education and training is the most important component of the new industry. And without education and training, I think the industry is going in a direction where there is a kind of free for all, where the advertisers are taking a free run, and where the regulatory bodies are struggling because there is huge demand and there is a supply deficit. So the regulatory body is struggling on how to make sure people don't get hurt or people don't get harmed. So those are my 2 bits, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So you have very correctly touched all the points related to GMP, GHP, which is good manufacturing practices, good hygienic practices. So we understand, like in the industry setup these days, there is a regulatory guideline in place where you have to monitor your water quality every 6 months. Under your HACCP principles, you have to do the critical point analysis for all the products. So those standards are there for the industry. But we are yet to see that how these are being implemented on a regular interval. So this is quietly being ensured by audits, surprise inspections. But yeah, the updation of the learned professionals, the upskilling of the professionals, the education and training, all that holds a lot of importance. So with that, I would like to ask you that what do you think is an effective way to disseminate information regarding the ingredients that you just mentioned? Like, for example, you just mentioned about curcumin. So we all are aware that it is a lipophilic molecule. Traditionally, from our Ayurveda, we understand that it was recommended to be taken with either ghee or milk. The reason was that it doesn't absorb in the body if taken with water because of bioavailability issues. So when I speak about bioavailability, it becomes a very pharmaceutical term. But in order to make a consumer understand that how these things work, whether you should take it with water or milk, how do you think that we can disseminate that information in a better way to the consumer? Of course, these platforms are there, but we all, we are not very idle to have these very often.
See, I think, like I said, education is the only key, because the reason is that uh, when you start education, and I think the education has to start from the school level, and there should be faculty courses. Like, see, if you go to NCERT, or they have to run a particular course basis which they will give a certificate, or basis which the student will pass 10th and 12th. So they have limitations. What I'm trying to say is they can't overnight overall their courses, but we can't wait for 10 years for courses to be changed. So it's best to introduce these small courses even for younger students. I wouldn't say 10th and 12th because they are neck deep in their own studies, but maybe the class 6th, 7th, and 8th, the middle school. The middle school should have external courses which the school is providing in addition to the normal NCERT courses. Now, why I'm saying so is, see, because by the time the research is done, and then that research reaches textbooks, and then that research reaches clinical application, it is almost 25 years which are gone. There's so many researches which were done with by All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and none of those researches have reached nutrition colleges even today. Because the people are still, like, for example, I'll give you an example of a research that if you give cold milk in acidity, it will actually cause rebound acidity. So it should never be given. This research has been done 15 years by All India Institute. But till today, all nutritionists will tell you that whenever you have an acidity, please have cold milk. So what I'm saying is that we have to divide education into 2 parts, which is, one is the upskilling courses for professionals. The second is external faculty or external courses which are done at the middle school level. Because if we don't do at the middle school level about good nutrition or how to consume things in the proper way, like for example, consuming in ghee or milk doesn't require rocket science. It's just an education. But if it is done at a middle school level, the children will eat healthy. Now, why I feel that the middle school is very important part of our growing up is by the time people are in their grown up years, they have imbibed certain habits which are very hard to break. We think that just by education, like for example, if I tell you something, you will start from tomorrow. It's not that easy. So habits are very hard to break, and that is why when the habits are getting formed, and this is the age when the habits are getting formed, that is the time when these health education has to be part of our school education system, not maybe NCERT, but otherwise. Another thing which I feel is very important is that I think we need much more what you can say programs like this, what we are doing, and I must compliment ASSOCHAM, to even sensitize general industry on what are the pitfalls and what are the areas which can be managed effectively and beautifully if done in time. So I think these kind of industry workshops also work very well. Industry-led programs also work very well. So I think it has to be a multi-pronged approach because India is a country of 1 billion people. So only one approach will never work here.
So true, ma'am. And I truly agree that you correctly said that this has to start from a middle school level because that is the impressionable age. I see so many people making very basic mistakes that we used to, get informed when we were kids. So I recently saw somebody combining milk and fish. We all understand that it causes skin pigmentation and causes vitiligo, but those people, although very educated and everything, they did not know about this. So, these are the very basic mistakes that we do. And of course, the education from the very beginning can really help in improvement of the situation. So I really thank you for enlightening us with that. And definitely the package inserts of the products, the print media, the publications about ingredient usage and their importance will accelerate the whole mission and help people a lot. Thank you so much, ma'am. So with that, I would like to move to our next speaker for today, so panelist for today, who's Dr. Narendra Tripathi. He's General Manager, Quality Assurance, Tirupati Wellness Private Limited, and member of Nutraceutical Wellness Council. Dr. Narendra Tripathi is PhD in Environmental Sciences and has 23 years of experience in quality, food safety, and regulatory compliance. He has worked with organizations like Walmart India Private Limited, DS Limited Food Division, Reliance Retail Limited, Ayurved, which was formerly known as Dabur Ayurved, Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages, and Dabur India Limited. In his current role, he is carrying the responsibility of Head Quality Assurance, Food Safety and Regulatory Compliance at Tirupati Wellness, Tirupati Group. We welcome you, sir. Please share your thoughts.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks to ASSOCHAM, and thanks Dr. Kirti. Basically, we have gone through the thoughts process with Dr. Atul Kochar, Dr. Blossom, and Dr. Seha Sarma. So basically, training and awareness is the key focus area. So whatever the industry is doing its own level, but whatever in order to formalize the nutritional requirement to get the family, definitely ASSOCHAM, CII, and FICCI like organizations come forward to have some awareness kinds of session so that it should be the public could be aware. And a part of that, one of the biggest challenge as an industry we are facing, as Dr. Atul explained, that consumer goes to the by pricing. Whatever if suppose one strip of tablet or one protein powder is being, the similar pack size, similar composition, then definitely available in the market, having the 100 rupees price per container per 100 gram, and other is getting the 100, it is will be showing same, but other is getting the 50 rupees, definitely he will go with that. And he is not going to, and definitely such kind of so whatever the health challenges to the consumer is raising right now because of the presence of the counterfeit product in the market. And for that, although we have a grievances cell with the FSSI, we can raise our voice, but there is no such, strict regulation whenever the counter products are counter products are how the counter products are to be addressed. And we as an industry, we are facing such kind of the challenges. And since consumer is not aware about the whatever the counterfeited, whatever the realistic product, and even in not in the case with the protein powder, we faced in phase 2 in the COVID, even in COVID phase 2 also, there were the numbers of the injection, numbers of the medicines have been arrested. So these are the basically there must be some strict regulations. Those people are doing such activities definitely must be punished and penalized, so that they could not do the activities. One point is this basically related to the training and awareness. So as awareness would be increasing, definitely consumer will get, and other things, those awareness as it is getting socialized. One of the university of the nutraceutical and the diseases, and we can say mobile learning hospital is just like social media is appearing every day on WhatsApp, every day on other form of Facebook, a new kind of the medicines, because and consumer is getting confused, and he is taking the medicines, he is taking somewhere, and when he is doing the comparison, what we have the disease, whatever the problems he has, he found that it's the similar kind of the characteristic over, and he approached that without any kind of prescription, without any consultation with doctors. So such challenges is the basically definitely it is need to be addressed, and this is the medium only the trainings. And as Dr. Sika expressed, like there would be some courses from the basis, so that what are the basic nutrients, then definitely it will help us to replace the to strengthen our Eat Right program, whatever the run by FSSI, as well as discourage the junk food consumption. Definitely when it will be from the childhood, if the children are going to be from the schooling, they are getting the strength and they are learning about the nutritional importance. So this is the point from our side. And pertaining to the industry, how the other challenges for us is the basically for the as a source of the protein, we are based on the import of the ingredients. Basically, like in case of the sport nutritions, or in case of the like whey and whey derivatives and others and amino acids. So and if we try to go through the go through the sources identification or their origin identification, it is becoming very challenging for us. Although we are trying to get it addressed through the certain regulations or certain enforcement through authorities also. Definitely it is other challenges, since it is in complete supply chain, and there is something is getting mixed which is not good to the human consumption. It is not being addressed anywhere. If we take out the if we take case pertaining to the sport nutrition, definitely government has notified that substance must be banned, banned substances free. But although till in India, we do not have even a single laboratory for the analysis. And if we have to proceed further to assure that to assure that it is free from the banned substance, and then definitely we have to go through the international laboratory only. And if we see the manufacturing capability and the manufacturing and economical situation of industry, and how they can it seems very difficult, since one sample cost analysis approximately stand, if we are going for the qualitative as quantitative both, then it will be per sample cost is going to be around 2 lakh rupees. And I feel the one batch is suppose is covering, so definitely is going to best. And result orientation and reporting of the analysis result itself took at least 30 to 45 days. Then at that duration he has to put a note. So there are the basic challenges, and no doubt whatever we sometimes we get in the form of the complaints, in the form of the counterfeiting products. Those are because why I am touching, since these such kind of the products are playing with the health of consumer. So this is the this point from my side.
Thank
Kirti.
you so much, sir. So I truly agree that you have correctly said that we have to be very careful regarding the sports nutrition parameters, the other products. So the contaminants, the allergens, we understand that. So FSSAI has been elaborating on that fact that how can companies ensure that their product is free from pesticides, heavy metals. Sports nutrition guideline is something that they have added upon. So I truly agree that it is very important that we develop robust testing standards with the help of our laboratories which are there so that we can ensure that a quality product is delivered to the customer. But since you pointed out that some methods are not still here or the testing parameters are not up to the mark, and for that we have to take external help from the labs which are placed outside. So how you are dealing as a as a developer, as a quality person in with that respect? Because we understand that there are international laboratories like Intertech, SGS, who are able to coordinate with different labs all across the world in order to get the products tested. But how is industry approaching that fact?
Yeah, we are approaching to the international laboratories work in India, having those can facilitate to us for analysis, and they have their counterpart across the country like either UK or Germany, where there are the 2 3 laboratories across world, and through the laboratories available in India, their branches, we are approaching them. And other part, we are moving through the pertaining to the product. We have taken the counter for this, certification like informed choice. So one certification along with the product base, they pick the samples randomly also, and the data test. However, they charge from us. But we get the confidence, and once we got the report, it is free from the since we can't play with the since the sport nutrition itself is going to be used by the players and sport persons, and one single incident definitely make their life, wherever the industry definitely will suffer. If anything is happening, and we are going to, their life is going to be spared at any. So we can't play like, but we are taking the atmosphere. But my point is this, that we are doing, but there are the number of industries who can't, afford such kind of practices. So there is a being at our level, Tirupati is doing best to in order to address to provide the good, contaminants free product to the consumer. But there is need to cascade such kind, and the peoples those are doing it, basically those are doing such kind of activity, definitely they are not aware about the adverse impact of that. They are looking just in part of the money, just part of the business. So definitely is a big challenge to the consumer point of view.
So true, sir. So as we are always talking about consumer awareness and their education, I think as industry and the developers, manufacturers, we also have a great responsibility, which we are satisfying completely. So a lot of kudos to you. And since you spoke about sports nutrition, so I would just like to touch upon the fact that India is already doing very good at Olympics this year, which has we are
Yeah.
hearing these news, and I would say as responsible people, we are doing our best out there to help our sports people, our general consumers with quality products, and we will try and keep ensuring that these standards are maintained, regular checks are done, and we meet the standards and try to keep the whole fraternity of manufacturers together, and so that they comply to the standards as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Now I would like to invite Ms. Manjari Chandra, who is a consultant, therapeutic and functional nutrition at Max Healthcare and Demam Wellness, and she's also a member of the AWF, ASSOCHAM. So talking about her, Ms. Manjari Chandra is a functional nutritionist and a wellness coach, speaker and an author. She has worked for leading hospitals of India, namely Max Healthcare, Manipal Hospitals, Columbia Asia, and many more. She is clinically using nutrition and lifestyle to reverse cardiometabolic diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, heart diseases, hormonal imbalance, autoimmune and neurological disorders, which lead a path to cancer as well. So she's been advising all the people related to these diseases who have been encountering these diseases. Her work entails changing her patients' lives by reversing these diseases using ancient Indian wisdom, herbs, and blending it with modern science. We welcome you, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kriti. Hi, thank you so much. And good afternoon to everybody here. Thank you, Payal. Thank you, Ritika. Thank you, Asucham. Good afternoon, Dr. Kocher. Good afternoon, Dr. Shikha, Dr. Atul, Dr. Pasna, everybody here. Pleasure to be here with everybody around. As Kriti was saying, and it's because everybody's already spoken about a few points that are extremely important about nutraceuticals, which is the quality and the education bit of it. I would like to really touch upon the usage of nutraceuticals and the criticality with which they can be used in clinical settings. So until now, nutraceuticals are becoming a sideline therapy. They would be on the side prescribed to patients and were not treated as mainstream treatment or mainstream medication or nutraceuticals, or the right science was not there. However, over years, and thanks to functional medicine and with our little training in functional medicine, and as Dr. Shikha mentioned about how Ayurveda takes up the concepts of functional medicine, and with every other form of integrative medicine coming together, we've realized that nutraceuticals have a much bigger role to play. To give you a couple of examples, for example, we know that if somebody has hypertension, a typical pharmaceutical advice is to take an antihypertensive, which is a medicine to bring down the blood pressure and keep it in a certain range, which is what the WHO advises. However, we know that a lot of minerals, including things like selenium and magnesium and chromium, can have a good impact on lowering the blood levels or lowering the blood pressure. Now, this, however, is not used in the pharmaceutical setting. Not many doctors check whether patients are low on magnesium or zinc or selenium, or they are very deficient in iodine, and these things are not corrected. And when these corrections don't happen, patients have to ultimately depend on pharmaceutical prescriptions. So that's one way. Another example would be cancer, because we're working a lot with cancer and we're trying to reverse or reduce the burden of chemotherapy and radiotherapy on cancer patients. We've realized that a lot of herbals, botanicals, antioxidants have a very, very big role to play. And again, modern medicine never really picked up these ingredients like herbals and botanicals. Like, of course, we speak about extracts of our herbs and spices, and the nanotized and the versions of that can be used in settings where you can reduce the dependence on strong or traumatic treatments like chemotherapy and radiotherapy. So the power of these nutraceuticals or vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, probiotics, prebiotics is huge, not only in management, but in actually reversal and treatment of very, very detrimental long-term chronic disorders and diseases. Also, simple examples would be things that can reduce inflammation. And because we know that today, all forms of cardiometabolic symptoms and syndromes essentially arise from insulin resistance and inflammation, we know that there is a lot of herbals, again, a lot of minerals and vitamins, antioxidants that are anti-inflammatory, that reduce chronic or latent or smoldering inflammation in the human body. And when you can use them to reduce inflammation, you can change the trajectory of cardiometabolic conditions, And that's when people who have diabetes or hypertension or heart disease or high cholesterols don't really need to depend on medicines and live with these diseases, whereas they can try and come out of them without being dependent on pharmaceutical prescriptions. So the strength that nutraceuticals, especially herbals, botanicals, vitamins, minerals, probiotics, antioxidants, and prebiotics have is huge. And now, of course, we're all waking up to it, and more clinicians are also honoring the whole fact that they can be used in clinical settings to reduce the burden of non-communicable diseases. The last bit that I would like to say is that when we talk about nutraceuticals, as Dr. Kocher mentioned, and many other panelists also mentioned, is that there is a lot of discrepancy in the sense people really don't know what to buy off the shelf. Even when things are prescribed, you go to Amazon or 1mg and you have very cheaper substitutes of those available. So a lot of consumers end up buying the cheaper version because that's more affordable to their pockets without really knowing how the entire thing works. So another very important tenet here is that besides regulation, quality assurance and education, we should also look at explaining and putting into a proper schedule how these nutraceuticals have an impact basis the providence, basis where they are coming from, basis how they're extracted, basis how they are put together, basis what are the combinations used. For example, for the longest time, calcium has been combined with magnesium and so many other things which may really not be the best combinations. We have so many multivitamins, multi-mineral supplements available, which have such little of these therapeutic doses that they really don't work. So these combinations also have to be really, really brought to the fore, and not just ASSOCHAM. I think across the board. And as everybody said that this is going to be big business. I was reading a report which spoke about the fact that in India, there'll be at least 10-fold growth in the next 5 years in the nutraceutical business. So with that sort of growth in the business, the underlying denominators for the nutraceuticals to be effective have to be very, very clearly chalked out, not only in terms of quality and in terms of composition, but also in terms of how they're communicated to the people. Because a lot of information that is written, I mean, we tell our people to take omega-3 and they take anything. There is no concept of understanding how omega-3 combinations have to be done, yes? And whether vitamin D should be taken with a fat or not taken with a fat. Some people just take a vitamin D pill with water early in the morning and there is really no absorption. So there's a lot more that needs to be done, and more forums, more and more consumer, and not just business to business, but business to consumer events where we get groups of people to attend these sessions is also something that is extremely important. And just a word of caution is that a lot of people spoke about overconsumption and overdosage of vitamins and minerals specifically. So somehow the guidelines that exist for nutraceutical supplementation are again very hazy. They're not very clear or well-rounded. And because these guidelines are not very well-rounded, people are skeptical. If something is recommended, they say, but RDA says only 1,000 IUs of vitamin D. How can I have 5,000 IUs? Will it cause hypervitaminosis? So those rounded edges of recommendations are also, I think, something that are pending and have to be now cleared and become less hazier, more and more clearer for the practitioner and the consumer. So thank you, Kriti. Thank you, everybody. And pleasure to be here with all of you today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So very aptly, you have captured all the points that really relate to the consumers, where we speak about different dosages being recommended, different IUs of vitamins, how their overusages are happening. And of course, like you just mentioned, that it's important that we communicate it very well to the consumer. And I think we all are playing our part by, participating in conferences, speaking on different forums, but that has to increase. Because since the market is increasing, we don't want the wrong habits to get imbibed into the system, wherein substandard ingredients or wrong combinations are being prescribed. So I think we as responsible people over here need to always keep ourselves updated with what is happening out there in the clinical setting, and of course the manufacturing and background, so that we can holistically monitor everything and deliver good products to the consumers. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
So with this, we now move on to our felicitation ceremony. So we have a lot of award winners today with us. I would just like to request all the award winners to switch on their videos while they are getting felicitated. So I would like to invite Srimati Upasana Arora to do the felicitation ceremony first. Thank you so much, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Kriti. And I am very happy to announce that Tirupati Wellness Private Limited for Best Nutraceutical and Health Supplement Research Center, and Tirupati Wellness Private Limited for Best CRAM Nutraceutical Company. Congratulations, Tirupati Wellness Private Limited. We are happy and we are really want that such kind of good work has to increase and people should get real benefit from the products. Thank you so much and congratulations once again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we now move to the next set of awards. I would like to invite Dr. Blossom Kochar for the felicitation ceremony now. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Yeah. So congratulations to Zion Life Sciences Limited for the best nutraceutical and herbal research company. Congratulations and wish you all the best.
Right. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we invite Mr. Garg to have some few words, sir, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. It's immense pleasure to us to receive this award. We are 30-year-old company and we are continue developing the new categories for the various products. For research and development, we have tied up with the many advanced research companies, research institutions like BDH, NII, NIPER, BHU. So those type of research companies which we have associated and developed the new products like Nero BDH, Slim Biomi, and recently we are developing the more advanced product on the immune system, which is also antivirus, antibacteria. So besides that, we are also investing into the technology advancement for bringing out the e-commerce products like Kids Pride, Geo Glow, Geo Slim. So I'm very grateful and happy to receive this honor on behalf of my team for innovation and research, who is continuing developing the products. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations once again.
Congratulations.
So I would now
Ma'am,
like to
please do
invite-
the another honor, please.
Yeah.
Award, please, ma'am.
So me? Okay. So congratulations to Vidya Herbs Private Limited for the best herbal ingredients company. Congratulations and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we would like you to speak few words.
Yeah. It is, we are very excited to receive this award and then recognition. And then we are in the manufacturing of herbal extracts and for more than 15 years now. And then we have our major focus will be on research and development and clinical evaluations of what extracts we make and put it into the international market in a big way. And our specialization is how we can convert a commodity into a value addition product, whereby we'll be working all the commodities of domestically grown in India. We want to add value to that. Whatever Ayurvedic herbs or whatever herbs we grow, we need to work on the natural products by way of value addition. That is our focus from now on, very vigorously on R&D, toxicology, toxicity studies, more and more research and scientific evaluations we'll be putting up, and then we'll be excelling in this manufacturing business. Thank you very much, and thank you to all of you, all the panelists.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you and congratulations. Thank you, Blossom ma'am.
Thank you.
So now I would like to invite Dr. Shikha Sharma for the felicitation ceremony. Please go ahead, ma'am.
I'd like to award Atia Healthcare Private Limited for the best Unani company by ASSOCHAM. So congratulations, Atia Healthcare. Would you like to say some words, few words?
Ms. Rupam, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Shikha was not audible, so I couldn't respond timely. So thank you so much. I would like to, thank you, give my thanks to Dr. Shikha, and I'm very, very grateful on behalf of the organization to be receiving this prestigious award for the best Unani company. And all I would like to say is that Atia Healthcare Private Limited takes pride in being one of the most trustworthy entities related to the field of natural medicine, related to Unani. And it's our constant endeavor to strive for excellence and, for a holistic approach towards treating our patients and who are suffering from various kinds of diseases. And thank you so much. Thank you for the honor.
Congratulations to you. Dr. Shikha, you are the next set of awards, please.
Yes. ASSOCHAM would like to present the best Ayurvedic company, drugs laboratories for the best Ayurvedic company award.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm audible?
Yes. Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Nabil. I'm looking as a director in this company. Just to give a brief background about this company, the company was started in 1985, but we have been associated with this business for almost 2.5 centuries. So the industry or institute which have stood so much over the years definitely has some benefits and which has passed on to lakhs of patients. So what we are doing, we are modifying those age-old products in the modernized form, sugar-free form, dosages, especially for pediatrics, which were earlier not present. And we have Ayush Premium certificates also. So we are making is compete with the best of the facilities available worldwide. So I would really like to thank ASSOCHAM for the award that has been given to us. And thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shikha. So now I would like to invite Asna ji for the next set of felicitation awards.
Thank you, Kriti. Now I would like to welcome and say congratulations to DD Nutrition Private Limited for Best Clinical Nutrition Company. So many congratulations.
Harjeet Kaur, please. Yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Harjeet, dietitian and managing director at DD Nutrition Private Limited. First of all, I would like to thank the ASSOCHAM and all the respected honorable judges for giving us opportunity to showcase our India's first ready-to-drink health supplement for patients suffering with chronic kidney diseases. It is easy to carry, gluten-free, lactose-free, having energy 66 kilocalories and protein 13 grams. And being a woman entrepreneur and dietitian, I always found that in this fast-paced era, people are compromising on their health due to their busy schedules, sedentary lifestyles, lack of knowledge about good food habits and nutrition. They tend to rely on fast foods, addicted to caffeine, etc. So I believe that when people understand the importance of nutrition and what it means to them, it empowers them to make meaningful changes in their dietary habits So we are trying to innovate such kind of products more and more, which is beneficial to our society and help them in prevention of getting any diseases. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to you. I would now like to invite Mr. Narendra Tripathi from Tirupati Group. Upasana ji, please go ahead.
Now I would like to announce one more award to Tirupati Wellness Private Limited for Best CRAMS Herbal Health Supplements. Many congratulations, Tirupati Group. You have actually winner today. And then Tirupati Wellness Limited has got one more award for Best CRAMS Sports Health Supplement Company. So many congratulations, and I would like to hear from you. So kindly.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, and for this award, for this prestigious award. And we are basically we are certifying. Tirupati Group has a diversified business in the form of the nutraceuticals, having 2 units. Having 2 units for the nutraceuticals, having the dedicated, and for the strain we are producing in the powder, tablet, capsule, and for the sport nutritions we also have been associated with the brand like Labrada, Glenvia, and recently few months back we also launched and we are wishing for his winning, who is Bajrang Punia also from here, who is in the Tokyo Olympic. We are praying for his winning. So thank you so much. Thank you so much to the association, and thank you so much to the panelists also.
So congratulations to you, sir. Now I would like to now I'd like to request Upasana ji for her closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Kriti. It was a wonderful session. We already shoot up our time, but time flies like anything because all the panelists were talking about really very good things. Especially like I really appreciate Shikha ji's thing that we should start this diet related knowledge from middle school, because that is the time when we start habit forming. So if we'll came to know, kids will came to know at that age, then it will be their habit and it is going to be their lifestyle. So we need to make this awareness, and we start to this awareness from school level. So at least everybody, when they will grow, they will teach this to their kids also. So it will be very beneficial, and all my panelists has done a wonderful speech, and I am really happy. And I would request ASSOCHAM that they should organize such kind of program more often. And next, it's my request to all my panelists, and in our next episode, we need to discuss more about this, that what we should eat for our day-to-day, daily life, that is going to be helpful for us in form of, nutritional diet and some nutraceutical things. So thank you so much. With these words, I would like to say thanks to everyone and say have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. It was great to have all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mm.